Hi everyone, thanks for watching. And I just wrote a new blog post and I want to share with you a little bit more about my story and how I completely transformed my career in the last few years. Because I'm actually getting a lot of questions around it. A lot of people are asking me how I came to Amsterdam and how I made this decision. So I thought it would be actually interesting to share a little bit more about my background because I used to do something completely different. So most of you know me now from teaching yoga, or you've been joining one of my moon circles, which I enjoy doing so much right now, and I'm feeling very blessed to do what I'm doing. But it has actually been a transition of the last years because I used to do something very different. I was for over 12 years, I was actually working as a digital designer and art director. And I was originally, so I studied design, and then I was originally working in Vienna in an advertising agency for a few years. And then in 2010, I decided I actually want to work on more exciting projects, and I wanted to go and live in London, where a lot was going on in the creative industries. So I made this decision, I made this move, and I found a job there in a digital agency, very big one. And I was very excited about starting this new job and working on all these big clients. And it was great. I worked with some amazing people, very talented people, but it was also a really fast-paced environment, and the project had a quick deadline, and I was, yeah, working very hard for a few years, that's for sure. And then also because I moved to London, I'm sure you all know it's a very fast-paced city. It's a busy city with a lot of people. So I started really practicing more yoga just to keep me balanced, to release any stress from the work, any stress from the commute. It takes an hour to go from one side of town to the other, or not even from one side, from home to your work, it takes an hour. And it just put a lot of kind of pressure on my system. So especially in the first 2 years, I really started practicing a lot of yoga. I luckily found my teacher with whom I really resonated, and then I was just like always practicing with her over many years. I practiced in some really beautiful studios. So I was exploring all the studios in London and practicing with so many teachers. And that kind of really helped me to always reset. And so I was still working in my corporate job. I was enjoying it. But then I started through the yoga to become more and more inspired, also to go deeper in my spiritual journey. And so at some point, I really got this strong desire that I would love to travel to India, and I had never been in India. And I heard from many people who had been there, so I heard different stories. And I really felt I want to go, but I don't just want to go for a week or two. I really want to take time and explore the country and explore this very different culture and really get to know it better. But that's actually not really possible when you're in a normal job. The maximum you can get maybe 3 weeks holiday, and that's kind of stretching it and negotiating. And so somehow through a variety of circumstances, I realized that actually I wanted to go freelance. And if I would become a freelance designer, then I could actually have much more flexibility and take longer time off from work and be able to travel more. And so actually this desire to go to India helped me then to make this decision. And I remember it felt quite scary at the time. Because obviously London is an expensive city, and I wasn't sure if I can just do freelance, if that would work out. But I informed myself, and I got some really clear feedback that the market is great, that my skills were good. And it ended up actually being an amazing decision, that not only was I earning more, but I was also much more flexible. So I had much more freedom. I loved that I didn't have to ask anyone if I wanted to go on holiday. I mean, of course, I was still, like being smart about the decisions I was making, and I was in contact with my clients, but I didn't have to get a holiday signed off. I was like my own boss, and it felt amazing. So that was great. And then I actually went to India for the first time, and I went for 6 weeks. I went to an ashram. I went into a deeper spiritual practice. And it was an amazing experience. And I always feel like if you've been to India, it's like planet India. You're landing like on another planet, and it's good to have time to go deeper. So that was the first part. And then, because I loved it so much, I actually started doing that every year. That always in the winter, I took some time off for a month or something like that, sometimes even 2 months. And I went traveling to Asia and going deeper into my own spiritual journey. So I was in Thailand and later on in Bali, which I love a lot. And that felt like very good for me to just be able to do that and have this freedom with my work, that I could also that I could also still travel in the way I wanted to, because I really love traveling and I really love exploring. And I also feel that as a creative person, it really recharges my creativity. So afterwards, I come back, I feel so inspired, I feel so creative. So I think it's actually very important to have this possibility. And then, how did it continue? I continued working in London then for a few years, but through going deeper into my spiritual journey, I also made the experience that actually being in the office and being in the corporate world and being in the agencies, I somehow felt that what I was doing was less and less meaningful and less what I really wanted to do. And I started to feel also a disconnect a little bit with my colleagues, because I was going deeper, I was going into meditation, I was going to kirtan, I was doing all these different practices that were maybe a little bit like out there. And so I also felt I kind of needed to hide this part of myself, as people would not really be very comfortable with me sharing all my experiences and all the practices I was doing. So that also felt kind of very contracted for me, that, and also kind of lonely in a way, that I wasn't able to share it with people I spent a lot of time with, and only with some of my friends. So there was then also a time when everything recalibrated in my life, and not only my work but also my social circle. I was going through a big change until I found my new my new way how I can contribute in the world, make a change, and also my new people. But there was more of a disconnect in the office, and also I started becoming really sensitive about energy, and I felt having to be in the office the whole day was felt really contracted in a way. I felt very drained in the evenings coming home. Just, I don't know, was it being in front of the computer the whole day, or so many people squeezed in a small space? I don't know exactly what it was, but it wasn't good for me. So I was struggling for a while, and I didn't really know what to do, how to change. And at some point, a friend of mine who was always practicing yoga with me, she really encouraged me and said, "You should do the teacher training." And my teacher was offering a teacher training. And I was like, "Yeah, but I'm not going to become a teacher. I'm actually not interested. That's not for me." I never thought I'm going to become a teacher. So it's so funny now looking back how life guides you, isn't it? But anyway, somehow I made this decision. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do my teacher training. I'm gonna try it, but I'm only doing it for myself to go deeper. I'm not gonna teach. So I did that, and it ended up actually being probably one of the most transformative experiences of my life, which then I still needed like a year after still to digest everything. But I started teaching a little bit on the side with colleagues. I got started teaching always on the side then for a few years. And I still continued traveling. I still continued going to retreats, to Bali, and so on. And then I did one amazing trip to Los Angeles, which I also loved, has an amazing yoga community. And when I came back from there, I had this huge inspiration that I actually wanted to start my own business. And I wanted to bring together my love for yoga and my love for spirituality with my design background and my skills in branding and everything I have been doing. And so I started my own business that is called Moon Tribe. And so the original idea, and meanwhile it has actually evolved in many ways, but my original brand was actually an ethical clothing brand. So I created clothing for yoga, which are ethically produced, sustainable cotton, sustainable materials, and I created beautiful designs with sacred geometry and with the moon. And I started becoming more and more interested about the moon. I started holding moon circles in London as well. And I worked a lot on the business, but I still had to do freelance design contracts as well to keep money coming in and keep earning money because the business wasn't really sustaining me. But that started feeling really more and more difficult over time. And especially the deeper I went into being an entrepreneur, which I loved, and I had lots of ideas, and I managed to bring the brand into some great studios. I was doing events, but only the business wasn't making enough money yet because also I was learning as I went along. I was new on my entrepreneurial journey. I didn't get a lot of support. Now looking back, I didn't get a lot of guidance or, mentoring. But anyway, it was a great learning experience. I went quite far with the business, and I think it's a beautiful brand. But I still had to keep working on the side. And that started feeling more and more difficult. And I just felt I can't do this anymore. I'm trying to fit myself into this box, but I just can't do it anymore. At some point, I couldn't do it anymore. And then also, as you know how manifesting works, all the doors closed as well. At some point, I couldn't do it anymore. I didn't get any more freelance jobs, and the universe was guiding me. You have to stop doing this now. You have to continue moving forward. So that happened, and then I went to an amazing retreat in Bali in beginning of 2019, and I started to have this kind of deep insights and guidance that actually living in London wasn't serving me anymore, and I was compromising in many ways. I wasn't really enjoying the city anymore. It felt really exhausting to live there, and also work-wise, I actually didn't want to do that anymore. So what was I doing? And so through a series of different inspirations, I then decided to move to Amsterdam. And I had been in Amsterdam a few times, and I knew it had an amazing spiritual community and also many people that I met on my travels. So I decided to move here in beginning of 2019. And I mean, as you can imagine, moving to another country, and I lived for nearly 10 years in London, and also it was kind of a very clear guidance, but I didn't really have a clear plan, and which is not really me. Usually I like to be organized and I have a plan and have a structure, but in that case, I just felt I need to do it right now. So I made the move. And then when I was here, I just started getting involved in the community, and I started manifesting. As you might know, I work a lot with manifesting, so I started envisioning what I want to do and connecting with people. And then it seemed like all the doors opened in a more amazing way than I could have ever imagined and I could ever have planned. And after 2 months of living here and having arrived here, so I was still very new, I was actually invited and I got the opportunity to work with my favorite yoga studios here in Amsterdam, which I think, to be honest, are some of the best studios in the world from everything I've seen. So the quality and the amazing community here. So I feel incredibly lucky to teach here, have an amazing colleagues and amazing community. So I was so happy, and I actually started teaching full time and coaching since last year. And so I made this full transition now, and I'm just reflecting back now as it's been such a journey from, still being in the corporate world a few years back. And I think I kind of had resistance and I had a lot of unclarity and wasn't really sure. So it was quite a slow and long journey. But I made it, and I feel now I've just followed my guidance, and I'm so grateful to do what I do now, and I love it very much. And actually, it feels like when I'm now working in my business, for example, I'm writing a blog post or I'm preparing a workshop or different things, I'm getting new ideas. It doesn't feel like work anymore. So actually, I feel like I need another name because I really enjoy it. I love it. I get fulfilled from it. I get energized, I don't feel exhausted from it. And also, if I have a day where I feel tired, I can always take it slow. There's no one telling me, you need to do this. So I love having this freedom, listening to my own rhythm. As you know, I work with the moon, so I understand that we are not the same every day. And I love being able to flow more with the waves. And actually, it feels a much more holistic way of working, a much more feminine way of working, and a much more inspiring way of working. So instead of being exhausted, I'm actually constantly having new ideas and new inspiration. And I can see the beautiful things, I can see the difference it's making, I can see the transformation in people on a daily basis, like after a yoga class, through a coaching session, and I'm in awe of the power of this work, and I'm so grateful to be able to do this. So, and what basically my message is, and why I'm sharing all of this with you, is that I know that some of you who are watching this right now, you might be in this situation of where I was a few years ago, and you might feel I'm stuck in this job, I don't know a way out, I don't know how to make money otherwise. I've spent so many years, I've studied, I've spent so many years working on this career, but actually it's not really what I want to do. And that's kind of it kind of sucks to be in that place, let's be honest. And I remember, because then you're like, I've invested so much, and actually it's kind of a deep realization. But I think what is even worse is then staying there. So please, if you're watching this, if this resonates with you, then just like tune in with yourself. And I just want you to know that it's possible. I've done it. I'm not more special or anything than you, so you can do it as well. You can change, and you can do what you love, and you can live from it. And it's possible. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's going to happen in one day, but it's maybe easier than you think. And it's definitely possible. And I feel, when we're doing something that fulfills us and that makes us happy, everyone can feel it, and it will have a huge impact not only on your own life, but on everyone around you. So this is my message. And I feel this year, 2020, we're all going through such a huge transformation. So we are all, questioning and reviewing our lives. And I feel many people are also doing this about their work and about their career. And fair enough, because how much time you spend at work. We spend a lot of time at work, and we spend a lot of energy at work. So it's not just a little thing on the side, but it's actually one of the main things in our lives. And so what I would like to share with you is, as I've been also now in the last 2 months, I've been working with an amazing coach from Los Angeles, and I'm also now getting more clarity, and I've just designed a new program. So I'm very excited to share it with you, and I will actually be using my own experience of successfully navigating this whole transition. And I've just created a new program which helps women who are in this situation, who are in a job that they actually not really fulfilled with, who want to make a change, but they need more clarity, they need more confidence, they need some guidance in moving forward. So I've designed this program especially for this. So have a look. I've put a link. It's called Live Your Passion and Purpose, and I'm very excited about it. I think that's so beautiful, to live your passion, to live your purpose. I mean, this is literally, why are you here on this planet? And there's a reason, and yeah, we are all here for a reason. So that's my message. So if you would like to speak more, you can always just send me an email. I would love to have a quick chat with you, so we can just set up a quick chat to find out more, and I can share more with you, and we can see if that would be a good fit for you, and if that could support you. So we can see for each other if that would be a good collaboration. And otherwise, if you know anyone who is in this situation, pass it on to them, and they might be very grateful if they are in this situation. So thanks so much for listening. I hope this was inspiring. I hope this is somehow giving you insights. If you are in this situation, if this resonates, then do something about it. Reach out, please. And otherwise, I send you so much love and stay in touch.